Well, good evening once again as we start a new week, day 125 of the Biden administration. Tomorrow will mark 1 year since the murder of George Floyd, killed on a city street in broad daylight under the knee of a police officer as the whole world eventually got to watch in horror on video. That video of his death unleashed a wave of protests around the globe, calling attention to the use of force and the role of race during encounters with police. The demonstration sparked a drive for federal laws on policing, leading to a measure named after George Floyd that is still being negotiated tonight in Washington. The president had said he hoped to sign the bill by tomorrow, but this afternoon, the three lawmakers who are trying to hammer out this deal, that would be Senators Cory Booker, Tim Scott, Congresswoman Karen Bass, issued a joint statement that read in part, "We are still working through our differences on key issues." You can bet that's true. The police reform bill, just one of several big items on the president's list that the Democrats are trying to get through Congress. There's that nearly $4 trillion infrastructure and jobs measure and a voting rights measure, both up against formidable Republican opposition. Well, today the White House was asked about these goals.
We will assess internally as we go into Memorial Day weekend where things stand, what the next steps are, and where we go from here. As it relates to the George Floyd Act, he has encouraged that there's ongoing progress and that there is a sense from the negotiators that there is a path forward, and he believes he can continue to press on that.
Now, this bill to create a bipartisan commission to investigate 1/6, the riot and the insurrection, is also now in the Senate, where a vote could take place by the end of the week. So far, Republican support remains rare and sparse, yet the majority leader is moving ahead with it.
I will bring the bill forward for a vote very soon. The prevailing view among Republicans seems to be that we should sweep the big lie in all of January 6th under the rug. I'm sorry that some Republicans believe that a bipartisan investigation of the attack on our democracy is inconvenient for their midterm campaigns. We're going to vote on the January 6th commission in the Senate, and the American people will see where every member stands, on the side of truth or on the side of Donald Trump's big lie.
Our National Guard has been stationed at our U.S. Capitol since their arrival on Insurrection Day. This week, the Guard's mission comes to an end. They're expected to be gone by Wednesday, despite the fact that our government tells us we remain under a growing domestic terrorism threat. Meanwhile, the White House now engaged in trying to keep the peace after securing the ceasefire that ended nearly 2 weeks of back-and-forth fighting between Israel and Hamas. Secretary of State Blinken expected to land in Tel Aviv in a few hours' time. He's going to spend the next couple of days in the region, talking to all sides in this in an effort to solidify that truce. Back here in the U.S., President Biden speaking out against an alarming spike in anti-Semitic violence this morning, posting on social media, quote, "The recent attacks on the Jewish community are despicable and they must stop. I condemn this hateful behavior at home and abroad. It's up to all of us to give hate no safe harbor." In addition to all that, the Biden administration trying to get ahead of the upcoming hurricane and wildfire season. White House says $1 billion is being set aside now to help communities prepare for disasters, twice as much as FEMA currently spends on those programs.
I will insist on nothing less than readiness for all of these challenges. We have to be there to protect and also help people recover. Not about red states and blue states. You all know that. It's about having people's backs in the toughest moments that they face.
Is there some heightened urgency at the Biden White House to get him at least parts of his agenda, his legislation that he's asked for to sign?
Yeah, look, obviously, President Biden started off with a pretty quick start. He got the COVID relief bill passed, $1.9 trillion. He got some other executive orders going. But there's a feeling of this point of slipping momentum, right? Because obviously he has not made any kind of deal yet on that infrastructure bill. The social welfare bill hasn't gone anywhere yet. Issues like voting rights legislation still stalled. That Capitol security bill doesn't seem to be going anywhere. The January 6th commission seems in danger, and no bill yet on George Floyd. Not to mention gun control. immigration and other priorities he's mentioned. So there's a lot on his plate and not a lot of movement at the moment. Now, what the White House says is, look, don't get too carried away here. It doesn't have to all happen at once. Everybody seems to think things need to happen so quickly because we've become inured to that after 4 years of Trump's nonstop news generating kind of White House. This may take some time. That's what the White House would say. But they also know that the longer things go, the harder it becomes. We have a 50-50 Senate. The Democrats have a narrow margin in the House. That all could change any given moment. To be able to get some of these big things through, they realize takes a certain degree of energy, and they don't want to lose it this summer when the August recesses come. So there is a sort of time clock ticking, even if the White House would prefer that we not pay attention to it.
Yamiche, a topic you and I have discussed before, and that's the Floyd family. The last thing they could have predicted, the last thing in the world they wanted was to be thrust in the national spotlight. And yet I think everyone agrees they have carried themselves so admirably in that role. They've also developed an interesting relationship with the president. They arrive at the White House to mark this grim anniversary tomorrow. Talk about how that has come along over the past few months.
Well, President Biden has really been in touch with this family multiple times, and they feel as though now they're really familiar with the president, familiar with the idea that he wants to see justice, not just for George Floyd, but for African Americans all over this country who are terrified of the police and who are terrified of some of the statistics, including, of course, that African Americans are some 2.5 to 3 times more likely to be killed by the police than white Americans. So tomorrow what we're going to see is a number of Floyd family members. They're going to be at least 3 of his brothers, a sister. He's also going to have his daughter there, Gianna Floyd, who famously told the president, who infamously in some ways told the president, my daddy is going to change the world. And of course, her father's name, George Floyd, is so synonymous with so much change in this country over the last year, the racial reckoning that we all went through, the guilty verdict for his murderer. But there also is so much that hasn't changed. African-American families are still so terrified in many parts of this country of the police. And that is in some ways the stalled agenda that Peter was talking about, this idea that President Biden wanted to see something signed on May 25th. That's not going to happen. He is in contact with congressional leaders, but there's still some really big issues to work out, including qualified immunity, whether or not you can essentially sue an individual officer if your loved one is killed. There also is, of course, all of those other things that are tied not only to infrastructure and to other things, but also President Biden over and over again has put equity and racial justice at the center of this. When you look at his stalled agenda, in some ways, it's also his stalled agenda on racial justice.